If you use Claude heavily, at some point you're going to start hitting limits. And often the response is,
I need more capacity.
maybe. But before you go spending any more money, I would ask a different question. Just how much work are we asking AI to do, which it never really needed to do in the first place? Because that's where this gets interesting. Now, instead of thinking about dozens of token saving tricks, I think there's a much simpler way to look at this. Almost everything we do in AI passes through four stages. First, we've got the input, what we give to the AI to have a look at. Next, it's think, what we're asking the AI to do, the intelligence we use to process it. Then we've got do, the work we ask AI to perform. And finally, we've got the output, what we ask it to give back to us.
And we can waste resources at every single stage.
So let's fix them one by one. Let's start with the input. Let's say I give AI a document, a 10-page document, 20-page document, maybe 50 pages. It would need some information around it for the context, but did it really need all of those 10, 20, 50 pages? Maybe, maybe not. And that's the first question we should start asking more of. What information does AI actually need to complete this task?
Not what information can I possibly give it. There's a big difference.
The same thing happens with conversations. You start with a simple task, you begin to discuss it, then something changes, more questions come up, then you correct something, then you try another approach. And gradually, this tiny working context becomes enormous. Some of that history is valuable, some of it isn't. But the AI still has to deal with the context given to it.
So I would stop thinking more context equals better AI. Relevant context equals better AI.
Imagine working at this desk and you've got a project on. You've also got your old projects and then abandoned ideas, old instructions. You've also got two manuals you're not using and every other previous draft that you've created. Technically, everything is available, but that's not necessarily helping you work. AI context is similar.
The objective isn't an empty desk. It's a desk containing what you need for the job that you're doing right now.
So there are some very simple habits that follow from that. If the task genuinely changes, start fresh. In Claude Code, /clear can give you clean context. If the task hasn't changed, but the conversations become huge, /compact can preserve the information while reducing the conversational baggage. And /context can help you understand what you're actually carrying.
These aren't really token tricks. They're context management habits.
But there is another type of input that is easily missed. Stuff that is there before you've even asked your question. Project instructions, skills, MCP configurations, Claude.md. You can open what feels like a fresh Claude session, but there are things there in the background that still need processing. So occasionally audit what gets loaded automatically, because if something is included in every interaction but rarely used, you are repeatedly paying for information that is not helping you. And we can take this principle further. Instead of giving AI all of the raw information, maybe filter it first. Sometimes ordinary software can remove the rubbish first
Imagine 15,000 tokens of raw information becoming, say, 1,800 tokens of relevant information.
before the model ever sees it.
Filter first, think second.
Now that we've cleared up what goes in, the next question is, what are we using it to think about? And this is where I think our behavior with AI is a little bit strange. We have increasingly powerful models, and naturally, we want to use the best one for everything.
Well, that's a bit like hiring a senior strategy consultant for a job that is an administrative role. They can absolutely do it. There's no question about that. The question is, what are you paying them to do that job?
Some tasks genuinely need serious reasoning, architecture, complex problem solving, planning where lots of things interact. Use powerful models there, but summarizing a file, formatting something, extracting information, these type of tasks may not need the same level of intelligence.
So the model choice shouldn't be what's the best model I have. It should be what's the least expensive model I have to reliably do this job.
Someone I know called this minimum viable intelligence. Not because we want worse results, quite the opposite. We want to reserve expensive reasoning for places where expensive reasoning actually improves the results. Simple job, simple model. Hard problem, powerful model.
Now you're not reducing capability, you're allocating capability deliberately.
And even within the same model, not every task requires maximum effort. If I'm asking for a difficult diagnosis of a technical problem, increased reasoning may be useful. If I'm asking for a straightforward edit, probably not. So before every task, there are really two questions to ask. Which model does this need? And how hard does that model need to think? Now, that's the much more efficient way of working. And now we get to what I think is the most interesting question. We've asked, what information does AI need? We've asked, how much intelligence does it need? There's another possibility.
Maybe AI shouldn't even be doing this part at all.
Imagine a task that follows the exact same steps every single time. Take this, rename that, extract this field, convert this format, move this file. Do we need an LLM to reason through those instructions every single time? Probably not. And that's what traditional software is really good at. This gives us a very simple division of labor. Use AI when judgment is required. Use code when rules are enough. The script doesn't need to understand why it's renaming 500 files. It just does it the same way every single time.
So rather than building workflows where AI does everything, build workflows where AI only does the parts that really need the intelligence. That's not just potentially cheaper, it's often more predictable because we're letting deterministic systems handle deterministic work. Now, there is one final place where we waste tokens, and that's the output. In other words, the answer. We've become accustomed to AI explaining everything. Ask a question, receive 5 paragraphs. Ask it to change a line of code, and they'll receive an entire explanation of why it did what. Sometimes that's useful, but sometimes I just need done. So apply exactly the same principle to output. What does the next stage need? If a human needs to understand a decision, explain it. If another system needs 3 values, give me 3 values. And if I only need confirmation, give me confirmation. Don't generate information just because the AI can. Useful output isn't the longest answer. It's the smallest answer that successfully completes the job. So now, instead of memorizing a huge list of optimization tricks, we have 4 questions. Input. Does AI need all of this? Think. Does AI need this much intelligence? Does AI actually need to perform every step? Output. Do I need everything AI is generating? Those 4 questions cover an enormous amount of AI waste. Now, here's the inefficient version. Huge documents go in, a giant conversation follows. The most powerful model processes everything, AI performs every step, and then it generates a detailed explanation of everything it did. It works, but we're just throwing intelligence at the problem everywhere. Now, compare that with this. Filter the input, keep only the relevant context, select the appropriate model and effort, move deterministic work into code, and request only the output you need. Same objective, very different use of resources. And I don't really think that this video is about saving tokens. It's about designing better AI workflows. Because the solution to limited AI capability isn't really give me more AI, to stop using AI where it adds no value. So the next time you're about to give Claude a job, ask, does it need all of this information? Does it require all that intelligence? Does AI actually need to perform every step? And do I need everything I'm asking it to generate? Because the goal isn't to make AI do more, it's to make AI do the right work. Reduce the waste at each stage, and you don't just use fewer resources, you build a much better system. Thank you for listening. I hope you found that useful.
What should I tackle next? Drop an AI topic, or better still, a problem you want AI to solve in the comments below. It might just become my next video.